White Ward, False Light. This band is a Ukrainian blackened post-metal, though they do claim themselves to be some other thing. This would be apparently their third album. You can find it on Bandcamp. And I found about this because of Metal Meltdown, who decided all of a sudden, before even reviewing the actual album, he put it on his best of the year so far list. So it got my attention, and once I found out what their style was, not to mention being a Ukrainian band, I was kind of intrigued. I'm fond more of the post-metal genre a little bit, and the fact it involves saxophones and jazzy stuff. Plus the production on this thing is insanely good, and then you hear, and then there's moments where you hear that saxophone. And yes, there are screams, but here's the thing. There's so much other things that are going on here. The opening track, Leviathan, really does it in. And then Salt Paradise is pretty interesting for what it is. It's kind of more of, I guess, one of the seguer type stuffs. And Downfall is a weird one, I guess, that closes this out. I can understand some people saying they could just ended it with the title track as the closer. But Chrono and this, so I mean, Phoenix, Echoes in Eternity is nice. Kronos has a more post-punk in a Bauhaus, the Smiths kind of way. I've heard some say Depeche Mode as well, even though I find them more industrial-ish, but, or at least think they're more known as industrial as opposed to the more post-punk stylings that I would give Bauhaus and the Smiths more credit for sonically there. And even the vocals that are clean, weirdly enough, when they do, it seems that starts to progress a bit into something better, because Salt Paradise's cleans are they have a sort of folky element going on that's very Opethy, but then has this, there's even a moment within Phoenix, I believe, if not Silent, I think that, or is it Silent Circles, where there's a jazz passage and it sounds like they're using a sample of something that sounds like it's from a domestic dispute. And somehow through that it's still heavy. It's, wow. And musically there's so many layers going on in this thing. And it just blends well with the jazzy elements. And even the screamed vocals, how they somewhat blend well with each other at points, especially within Phoenix, if not Echoes of Eternity is pretty good. I think that one has a passage thing, just like Downfall does. But I think Kronos is definitely one where I think is the easiest track to get people into, because it's not that much blackened in comparison. And I would say the blackened moments, I would go as far as to say, are more rooted towards melodic black metal. And by that I mean the kind that is sort of rooted toward and closer in line with melodic death metal, but it's more black metal primarily, as opposed to being death metal primarily kind of a thing. Those kind of blackened elements to me. Because I do hear some of the other elements that melodic death metal has that are more power metal and thrash metal oriented in this sound. Like those lenient tendencies that melodic death metal has as well. And but you can tell it's, instead of death metal as the primary, it's more black metal. It's kind of reversed. Like, there's still probably some death elements, but it's really more clearly more closer in line with black metal, I guess. Or at least that's what I think of when I think of here with this particular form of black metal that is that, as well as the more typical post-metal ambiance, and then adding these jazzier elements that are probably more jazz punky, I guess. And some of the saxophone ideas make me think of like Tesseract, what Tesseract did on their second record, the Altered State album, as well as what the tech death band Rivers of Nile did, that blew everyone's mind with that particular album. That, I don't know why I'm blanking on the name of the album, but it was the one before the work. That one, it has that kind of thing going for it with its saxophone parts, and I think it's beautifully done, and how they utilize them and everything throughout this thing, with even the more post-punk things. I would say for something more black metal oriented, this is probably one of the better albums I've heard so far. That's outside of what I feel about the recent Zealand Order, I guess, in terms of creatively speaking. And I almost feel like the way these jazz passages are, I wish I would have get something like that out of even Astronoid. I'd almost wish that Astronoid would go there with those kind of passages. They don't have to, obviously, but it would be nice if they explored a little bit of those into their style, and it adding an extra layer to them, maybe. Or at least that's what I feel like after having listened to this record, that I feel Astronoid could do. You know, that's what this does for me in a way that maybe that I didn't get out of with the Astronoid record. That would have been interesting. You know, like White Ward really has my wheels turning about that, you know, to where I would give this a little bit of a higher score than the new Astronoid record. I mean, yeah. This album is as great as he says it is. It's an incredible record. Horns Up, potential masterclass, and given all the bullshit within Ukraine at this moment, given the war with Russia, I'm glad that at least, you know, it hasn't completely stopped certain artists that are from the Ukraine from making great music. And this is one of those, and this is being no exception of that for them, you know. And for those, and for the members, if they're still having a tough time dealing with all the bull crap, I feel for you, man. And if some of that was what was supposed to be when this came to this record, I did kind of, in a way. Like, I was, yeah. Like, Horns Up, potential masterclass with this thing. Granted, the issue this album has is the niche thing. Like, if not, I think JC Rock and Metal Reviews had an issue with this at first. So, but it grew on him. So this has potential for people who aren't used to the obscure stuff like I am, which, because of it, I was able to immediately grasp into it. Whereas someone that is not as intricate or eccentric about their particular tastes in music, or wants something of that nature, but wants something that feels more original in its approach, and was willing to have an open mind and allow an album like this to grow on them, this album's definitely worth your time. Good job, boys. You have my attention. What did you guys think of False Light by White Ward? Leave a comment below, let me know. Did you enjoy the way this particular brand of blackened post metal with these jazzy elements going on? Leave a comment below, let me know. Rock the like button if you must, if you like this video, as well as hit the subscribe button and click that notification bell to get more videos and links in the description to all my socials. And as always, guys, keep it random. Keep it real, keep it rocking, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, y'all. If you want to really help Ukraine in cases, sometimes support some of the good artists, and this is one you should. I'm just saying. Take care, man.